But I want to kick this over to Chris because I think it also brings up the podcasting. And I know this is where Chris, he's the guy I go to when I got questions about podcasting. But even that, people like, oh, there's all these podcasts. But Chris can probably go further with that.
Yeah, I think if there's people, Marco, in your audience listening or watching on replay or live, there's 3 buckets, so to speak. There's someone who hasn't started doing really any content and they want to. Then there's the people that have started and they've done some content and they've quit. And then there's the third, which is they haven't quit and they're making content. And so the first thing, if you're talking about someone who isn't making video content at all, what they're seeing on their algorithms and what they're seeing on their phones and what's scrolling is people who have done it for years. So if you're talking about from a fitness perspective, if someone is in a gym and they want to lose 30 pounds that they put on over the holidays or whatever, you don't go in 1 or 2 times and come out shredded looking like the people on the magazines. You don't. You have to go in, and sometimes you even have to hire a trainer at a gym to help you through it. So I think a lot of times people quit because they see the stuff that they think they could never be. And that's what happens in the second bucket. They see all this stuff and they've put out a couple of videos and they're really trying, but it's so complicated and they've got so many other things going on. And I would say to encourage the people that are in that second bucket, you're already in the 1% because you're trying and you're doing. You just have to keep going. And so sometimes it's just popping up your camera and speaking to the person that you want to help. And if you can do that, you can create a community for yourself. And eventually, people start reacting to what you did. Jim talked about Dealcasters, Marco. We went live on that show. We didn't know who we were talking to. We had an idea of what we were going to do, and we're like, we need to do this show, and we demonstrate stuff for our clients and remote producers. Marco, you have clients, you have people that you work with, and you kind of have to help them line them up on video, talk into the microphone the right way, tell them why they have to have headphones when they do things like this. All of those things we were doing, but you don't realize just how many people in this world have no idea how to do any of that stuff. And so we kept on doing the show and kept on repeating ourselves because people were asking us those questions. And then you develop this community of people that trust you. And they say, hey, I can do this thing. Because that person said that if I talk on the microphone this way, then I don't have these things called plosives and it blows out my microphone and it sounds like garbage when I try to put out a podcast. Eventually you create this community of people that you're helping. But I feel like there's a lot of people when you're seeing all of this stuff, the AI, the video, and all of this great stuff that we're all interested in and trying to figure out, but they haven't even started yet. And it's really hard for people to get started. And that's really, listen, I wish I had the first Dealcasters video that I could play because we'd all cringe. We'd all go, oh my gosh, Chris, you look like a ghost. Jim, I can count your nose hairs. Why is that? Why is your microphone like it wasn't good? And the first video anyone does isn't good. But the cool thing is nobody watches it. Nobody's going to see it, but you got through the reps. You got through. And then you watch the video and you go, "Oh my gosh, I could do better here. I could do better here." And you give it to other people that you trust that can give you some, well, you know what? Chris, you say and too much. Right? Okay. I have to work on that. Chris, you say whatnot. That was Jim's thing. Okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to work on it. And then I can get up to a point to where I'm more confident. I'm doing it better. And it's really about building confidence.
Absolutely.